There's a factory worker in England who assembles luxury car engines while wearing a Rolex Submariner on his wrist, and that's just the beginning of what makes Bentley's Crewe factory the most extraordinary automotive production facility on Earth. Welcome inside the only place on the planet where Bentley vehicles are manufactured. This isn't your typical assembly line churning out thousands of cars per day. This is Crewe, England, where approximately 4,000 craftspeople build fewer than 14,000 cars each year, and where a single Continental GT or Bentayga requires up to 130 hours of meticulous hand assembly. With a £2.5 billion investment, that's over $3.4 billion US, transforming this 521,111 square meter facility into what Bentley calls their dream factory. We're about to witness how tradition meets cutting-edge technology in the pursuit of automotive perfection. Let's start where every Bentley begins its journey, the body and white workshop, where raw metal transforms into the skeleton of a luxury automobile. The body in white. Welding perfection. The term body in white refers to the bare metal vehicle body before painting, and at Bentley, this process is nothing short of engineering artistry. Unlike mass-produced vehicles where robots handle most welding operations, Bentley's approach combines high-tech precision with human craftsmanship that you simply won't find anywhere else. The core of each body structure consists of an optimized mix of materials. A careful blend of steel and aluminum engineered to minimize weight while maintaining exceptional stiffness and strength. For the flagship Mulsanne model, 83 Bentley employees bring together approximately 1,257 pounds of steel and aluminum through hundreds of meters of welding, completing 5,800 individual welds by hand. Here's what makes this remarkable. Overhead cranes deliver a new vehicle framework to the assembly line every 9 minutes, maintaining a rhythm that balances efficiency with the painstaking attention to detail that Bentley demands. Workers inspect each weld visually and by touch, and when they encounter minor imperfections in the bodywork, they don't just polish them away. They actually use hammers to gently shape the metal to perfection, a technique that would seem primitive if it weren't so incredibly effective. The welded bodies then move through illuminated LED inspection tunnels where every contour, every joint, every surface undergoes its first quality check. Any imperfection spotted here means the body doesn't proceed. Remember, only around 14,000 Bentleys leave this factory each year compared to the hundreds of thousands produced by mainstream manufacturers, and that's entirely by design. Paint shop. The 48-hour transformation. Once the bare metal body passes inspection, it enters what might be the most time-intensive paint facility in the automotive world. This isn't a quick spray and bake operation. The painting process at Bentley's Crewe factory takes 48 hours from start to finish, and here's why. The 500 employees working across the approximately 1.2-mile-long painting line have a single objective: absolute perfection. In a typical week, the paint shop finishes 350 to 400 Bentley car bodies, but speed is never prioritized over quality. The process begins with cleaning, degreasing, and immersing each body shell in a zinc phosphate solution to ensure optimal adhesion for the subsequent corrosion protection. This is applied through cathodic dip coating, essentially bathing the entire body in an electrically charged paint solution that reaches every crevice. Following seam sealing with PVC, 3 different layers of paint are applied: filler, top coat, and clear coat. 6 robot arms work in concert, capable of raising or opening all movable parts of the vehicle to ensure no surface remains unpainted. For a base color, these robots spray approximately 15.4 pounds of paint onto each body, a process that takes precisely 12.5 minutes. But here's where Bentley's approach becomes truly exceptional. Customers can choose from nearly 100 individual colors from Bentley's extended palette, or, and this happens more often than you might think, they can create a completely custom color by matching it to a precious personal object. Have a favorite handbag? Bentley will match that exact shade. Own a piece of jewelry with a unique color? They'll replicate it perfectly. After the final clear coat application, which protects against UV radiation and provides that initial gloss, professional painters sand each uneven area flat, no matter how microscopic. 6 employees sand and polish each surface meticulously. No bumps, no imperfections are permitted. And then comes the signature Bentley touch. Each car undergoes fine sanding before being polished with lamb's wool for 12 hours. Yes, you read that correctly. 12 full hours of hand polishing with lamb's wool pads. This creates what Bentley calls the mirror finish, a reflective surface so perfect that you can read text in its reflection from several feet away. After 48 hours and gaining approximately 35 pounds in paint weight, these freshly painted body shells head to the main assembly line, ready for their interior transformation. Leather workshop, where bulls become luxury. Walk into Bentley's leather workshop and you're immediately struck by 2 things: the rich aroma of high-quality leather and the intense concentration of craftspeople who transform raw hides into automotive art. Bentley uses 3,000 bull hides every week, sourced exclusively from Northern Europe, where the temperate climate and lack of barbed wire fencing means the hides are mostly free from scratches and insect bite imperfections. But not just any European bulls. These come from high-altitude regions where parasites are less common, resulting in remarkably clean, blemish-free leather. The luxury British coupe Continental GT contains hides from approximately 10 to 11 European bulls. The Bentayga SUV uses around 14 hides, the Flying Spur sedan about 13, and the flagship Mulsanne required around 15 hides per vehicle. Here's the catch. Only about 60% of each hide is usable for Bentley's exacting standards. The remaining leather is recycled or repurposed, never wasted. Using special chalk, employees mark different parts that will be cut from each leather hide. Holograms are then projected onto the cut skin, allowing operators to identify and select only the most perfect sections. A CNC computer numeric control machine cuts the required pieces with precision, but humans guide every decision about which sections make the cut and which don't. These supple leathers undergo special tanning processes that allow them to retain their natural aroma, that distinctive, luxurious leather smell that instantly identifies a Bentley interior. Customers can select leather hides in 14 different colors and match them with 23 thread options, creating thousands of possible combinations. Now here's where the craftsmanship becomes truly extraordinary. Expert craftsmen create contrasting embroideries and cross-stitching that's virtually unheard of in automotive manufacturing. Apart from Bentley, only Rolls-Royce and Aston Martin employ similar hand embroidery techniques. Consider the steering wheel alone. The leather that encases it cannot be adequately stitched by machine. The complex curves and angles demand human hands. The entire stitching process takes 5 hours, during which craftspeople insert 620 separate stitches using approximately 33 feet of thread, depending on the model. For the Flying Spur, a cross-stitch steering wheel involves precisely passing 16.4 feet of thread through 352 sew holes to achieve 168 distinctive cross stitches. In the Flying Spur alone, it takes 26 hours just to cut, stitch, and trim the seats. Every leather panel is initialed on the reverse by the upholsterer, a personal hallmark of quality and accountability in every car. As all 350 unique leather pieces are adorned to 60 bespoke components using over 1.86 miles of thread to make up a complete Flying Spur interior, each passes through the hands of 141 Bentley craftspeople. Before installation, the durability of seat leather is tested with specialized machines that simulate repeated seating, even by heavy people, ensuring the material can withstand tens of thousands of uses without showing wear. Woodshop, 20 days of natural perfection. If the leather workshop amazes you, wait until you see what happens in Bentley's 5,400 square meter woodshop, where 150 employees spend 3 shifts turning sustainably sourced wood into automotive jewelry. Here's a mind-blowing detail. Every sheet of wood within a complete Bentley comes from the exact same tree. This ensures the pattern, grain, and color remain consistent throughout the entire car and age uniformly over decades of ownership. The choice of raw materials is virtually unlimited. It's even possible to use burl wood from a customer's private forest if they desire that level of personalization. The process begins with Bentley veneer experts who view around 82,021 feet of veneer in its raw form during selection, checking every inch to ensure it's of the finest quality, a process that takes 2 full days. The veneers come from century-old exotic trees, including Vivona from California, Madrona from the United States, olive ash from Europe and Southwest Asia, Tomo ash from China, and bird's eye maple from North America. The root burl, that knotted growth at the tree's base that creates the most spectacular patterns, is steamed and cut into very thin slices of just 0.6 millimeters thickness. Each bundle consists of 24 leaves from the same tree, ensuring pattern continuity. With force up to 250 tons, massive presses bond 7 layers together to form a single part. The goal is making the finished interior trim look as if it were carved from a single solid piece of wood rather than layered veneers. A laser cuts the veneer sheets with absolute precision, resulting in smooth cutting edges and perfectly matched panels. These laser-cut veneers are then mirror-matched to create 33 separate components that flow seamlessly throughout the cabin. Following initial cutting and fitting, each part receives 5 layers of lacquer and undergoes a 72-hour curing process. After curing, it's sanded and polished again before final fitting. The team from the plant's in-house wood shop requires a total of 20 days, nearly 3 weeks, to refine the wood for the interior of just one Bentley car. Approximately 10 hours of net craftsmanship time is devoted to the production of each car's interior wood paneling, not counting curing and drying time. The opening scenes of the process show the intricate work required to turn raw leaves of sustainably sourced wood into the stunning veneers that grace Bentley cabins. Engine assembly, the beating heart. In another section of the Crewe factory, master technicians assemble the powertrains that will propel these luxury machines. It's here that you'll spot those Rolex Submariner watches on workers' wrists, a testament to both the skill level required and the prestige associated with being a Bentley engine builder. Each W12 engine is hand-built over 6.5 hours by a team of 45 dedicated craftspeople before undertaking a highly sophisticated test regime lasting over an hour. The twin-turbo V8 engine follows a similar process with specialized teams. Both the V8 and V12 engine assembly operations use precision cranes built into the ceiling structure for positioning heavy components. The W12 engine, Bentley's masterpiece, consists of approximately 300 individual elements when fully assembled. Bentley's engine builders produce around 30 W12 twin turbos per day, though production has recently ended as Bentley transitions toward electrification by 2030. Here's what separates Bentley from everyone else. When an engine is finished, the lead technician places a label on the engine featuring the serial number along with his or her own name. This isn't just accountability, it's pride. These craftspeople literally sign their work, knowing their name will be associated with that specific engine for its entire operational life. But before any engine leaves the assembly area, it must pass 3 rigorous tests. The first is a leakage test where fuel, oil, and water systems are pressurized to values between 0.2 to 5.0 bar and monitored as pressure decays over time. Any faster than expected pressure drop indicates a leak that must be fixed. The second test, called cold test, is the most advanced. The engine is loaded onto a test bed plate with connections made to the engine loom and all systems. A large electric motor couples to the engine via the crankshaft and motors the engine at just 120 RPM for 15 minutes, while sensors measure 600 individual properties and characteristics. The low running speed allows technicians to identify inconsistencies that would be invisible if the engine were firing at normal speed. The third and final test is hot test, which simulates real-world usage. The engine runs for a minimum of 21.5 minutes, reaching up to 3,800 RPM with a maximum load of 221 pound-feet of torque. The engine test technician listens for any refinement issues while checking for leaks with a UV lamp. Impressively, 1 in every 100 engines undergoes a full 8-hour power test, achieving 6,000 RPM and producing the full 667 pound-feet of maximum torque. Since the installation of 3 test beds in 2002, over 100,000 W12 engines have been handcrafted in Crewe and passed through this facility. Main assembly line, where it all comes together. The main assembly line at Crewe is unlike any other automotive production facility. While 2 lines operate inside the main assembly hall, one for the Bentayga and one for Continental and Flying Spur models, they run just a single shift from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. 5 days a week. This might seem inefficient, but it reflects Bentley's philosophy: never sacrifice quality for speed. The assembly process includes what's called the marriage in automotive terminology, the moment when the body shell and chassis are joined together. This happens with remarkable precision using overhead cranes and manipulator arms that position components to tolerances of just 0.1 millimeters, about the thickness of a human hair. Here's a staggering fact: this luxury automobile contains more than 4.97 miles of cables. Its internal electronic architecture encompasses 2,300 circuits and 92 control units managing everything from the massage seats to the advanced driver assistance systems. Each car must successfully pass a rigorous 600-point checklist during the production process. The painted bodywork arrives, and the bolting and further assembly of all bodywork parts begins. Workers install the engine and transmission assembly, connect the sophisticated wiring harness, and begin fitting interior components. The handling devices help position dashboards absolutely precisely in the cockpit, maintaining that critical 0.1 millimeter tolerance between chassis and instrument panel. The seats arrive at the car and are installed using hydraulic arms called lifter systems. They must not be scratched or damaged. Such mistakes would be extraordinarily costly given the hours invested in each leather seat. Cables are plugged in, giving seats power and connecting them to the car's electronic brain, and seat runners are bolted to the floor to precise torque specifications. The doors are always added at the very end of the assembly line for a practical reason: easy access to the inside of the car for factory staff who need to install and test interior components. More than 700 businesses supply 18,000 parts from 31 countries and 5 continents to Crewe. Interestingly, 82 suppliers are located within a 50-mile radius of the factory, supporting the local economy while reducing transportation emissions. Testing, the final gauntlet. Before any Bentley earns the right to wear that iconic Big B emblem, it must pass through final testing that would make other manufacturers nervous. First comes the rattle and roll test, where engineers give each Continental and Bentayga a thorough shaking. Rollers simulate various road surfaces while testers accelerate the car up to 15 miles per hour to identify disturbing noises and loose vehicle parts. Test drivers literally drive Bentley cars all day, every day, a dream job that ensures every vehicle performs flawlessly. Next comes water resistance testing. The freshly assembled Bentley is taken to a special shower facility where jets blast water from all sides at full pressure, simulating the most extreme weather conditions. Not a single drop of water is allowed to enter the car's interior. Engineers check seals around doors, windows, the trunk, and even the smallest gaps in the bodywork. Following water testing comes dyno testing, where the vehicle is secured on a dynamometer, essentially a massive treadmill for cars. Here, technicians verify engine performance, check brake functionality, and ensure the transmission shifts smoothly through all gears under load. But testing doesn't end there. Depending on model specifications, colleagues complete a checklist between 500 to 650 points that takes more than 2 hours to complete. Additionally, 20 cars per week undergo an even more comprehensive quality audit to continually drive quality standards higher. The Excellence Center, White Glove Delivery. The final stop in every Bentley's journey through Crewe is the Excellence Center for Vehicle Finish, a facility based in the former Mulliner workshops where the legendary Mulsanne was once produced. In this modern, digitally enabled facility, a team of hand-picked craftspeople performs the final finishing and checking. Here's the remarkable part. Colleagues wear white gloves to ensure that hand-built cars leave the facility without so much as a fingerprint on them. Their skill and passion are supported by digital innovations, including artificial intelligence that helps identify imperfections invisible to the naked eye. Every Bentley model has always been hand-built and checked to the highest standards, but the Excellence Center takes this even further. Only upon meeting these exacting standards can a vehicle be certified for delivery to customers around the world. More than 80% of all Bentleys ever made are still on the road today, a testament to the quality, durability, and timeless appeal built into every vehicle at Crewe. The future beyond 100 strategy. As we conclude our journey through this extraordinary factory, it's worth noting that Bentley isn't resting on its century-old legacy. The company has committed to its Beyond 100 strategy, which will see a complete transformation of the entire product portfolio and the historic Crewe campus. The significant £2.5 billion, over $3.4 billion, investment will transform manufacturing operations into what Bentley calls the benchmark for luxury car production. This includes building battery-powered electric vehicles starting in 2025, with one new EV launching each year through 2030. By 2030, Bentley aims to offer exclusively electric vehicles while achieving end-to-end carbon neutrality. New facilities include a state-of-the-art launch quality center and engineering technical center covering 8,000 square meters across 2 floors, featuring a production-proving ground and mini assembly line to test future BEV assembly. There's also a new multi-million-dollar paint shop facility and a logistics center to support this transformation. The Crewe factory already operates on a carbon-neutral basis, having achieved both the ISO 14001 environmental standard and ISO 50001 energy management standard, making it the first UK automotive plant to accomplish this. While production volumes have increased tenfold over the last decade, the amount of energy used per car has fallen by over 60%. So there you have it, the inside story of how Bentley builds the Continental GT and Bentayga at their £3.2 billion Crewe factory. From the body and white workshop, where 5,800 individual welds create the perfect foundation, through the 48-hour paint process with 12 hours of lamb's wool polishing, past the leather workshop where 11 to 15 bull hides become luxurious interiors, through the wood shop's 20-day refinement process, into the engine assembly area where master technicians sign their masterpieces, onto the main assembly line where 4.97 miles of cables connect 92 control units, through rigorous water and dyno testing, and finally into the Excellence Center where white-gloved craftspeople perform the ultimate quality check. It takes approximately 110 hours to build a Continental GT, around 130 hours for a Bentayga, and up to 400 hours for heavily customized models. With only 4,000 employees building fewer than 14,000 cars annually, every Bentley represents an investment of human skill, passion, and dedication that you simply cannot replicate on a traditional assembly line. What amazed you most about Bentley's production process? Was it the 12 hours of hand polishing, the 20 days required for wood refinement, or perhaps those engine builders wearing Rolex Submariners while assembling W12 masterpieces? Drop a comment below and let us know what you found most impressive. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into automotive craftsmanship, make sure you hit that like button, share this video with fellow car enthusiasts, and subscribe to the channel for more factory tours and automotive content. We've got some incredible behind-the-scenes content coming up that you won't want to miss.